That's all right. We'll get there eventually.
All good.
All good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi,
Hey,
I'm Jacqueline.
And I'm Philip. So good to meet you.
nice to meet you too.
So basically, this is our little show we kind of do for our shop every Sunday. And we've been trying to do some interviews. So once again, thanks for joining us today on this. Actually, it's a pretty warm day in Virginia here.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Thank you for having me, really.
Thanks a lot. So, yeah, I got them.
My chair is really squeaky.
Yeah, our chairs are squeaky, but that's okay. So basically, if you don't mind, we'll kind of start off. If you want to tell our audience and stuff a little bit about yourself, like who you are, doing.
For sure. So I'm Sweeney. I've been drawing for like 8 years now, but professionally since like last year. I'm working on Marvel Action Captain Marvel for IDW, and yes, and I just released my first graphic novel called You Don't Love Yourself with Bim Studios. Yes. And I live in Canada, where it's still really cold.
Yeah, it's been in the 80s here the last couple of days. So we go in Virginia, it's weird. So you'll go from one day your high is like 60 and your next day it's like 85 to 90.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy here. So how are you doing during all this lockdown stuff that's going around everywhere?
Yeah. I don't know, like there's some days are just like easier than others. Ups and downs. I'm really slow with work, unfortunately. Tired all the time. I nap a lot. That's, yeah, pretty much.
Are you doing commissions right now?
Yeah, I'm doing commissions, but I'm like jumping on a new project soon, so I'm lucky. I'm busy, so this is great.
Your cats. Or cat.
Yeah, she doesn't like when I close the door.
That's funny. So I see you have a guitar behind you there. Do you play?
Oh yeah, so that's my boyfriend's, but the bass is mine. I haven't played in like 2 years. He was like, oh, it looks good in like your, cause like this is our studio thing. He was like, oh, you can see it on the screen, and I'm like, yeah, but like, this is your stuff. I don't play.
That's fair. That's fair.
He's really proud of it.
That's fun. So do you have any hobbies like outside of comics that you currently do or used to do before you were trapped inside all the time?
Let's say that like being trapped inside gave me a lot of free time to try stuff. So I've been knitting. My cat is like a naked cat, so I've been knitting her sweaters. That's my new thing, I guess.
That's funny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's completely fine. Yep.
So you're from France, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you miss most about living in France?
Not much.
Not much?
And there you have it.
I moved away for a bit of a reason. Yeah, I don't know. I miss my family, that's for sure. Like it's not easy to like go and see them because they live in like France, but like nowhere, like in like the smallest town that is like so far from any kind of the airports or anything. So yeah, I miss my family. And warm weather, I guess.
What is your favorite French food? I have like an obsession with France, so I was just curious.
Something called clafoutis. It's like a dessert that my mom used to make, which is like with like fruits and some kind of like crepe thing. It's like all together in the oven, and it's really, really good. I don't know. Yeah, I miss that. And cheese.
I can't get her to eat crepes.
No.
Oh.
Maybe one day.
I'm not a big sweet fan that way. So
that's a lie.
Like a cookie. A cookie's fine, but I don't usually go down those paths a whole lot.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. I don't know. Anyway, So what led you to become an artist? Was it a passion that you always had from an early age, or is it something that you saw one day and like, I want to do that?
Um, I think I've always been like artistic in some way, even when I was a kid. But I remember not being like really good at anything in high school, except art.
Right.
I don't know. It's always been my happy place in some way. And I at first I wanted to be a fashion designer because I just love clothes and everything. But I discovered comics in between, and there you go.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
I can still have
So,
fun with fashion, so that's cool.
well, yeah, and that
Put all
kind of
kinds of cool clothes on your characters.
I try
so
to, yeah.
yeah. So as far as like, well, we'll kind of change gears a little bit with your fashion stuff. So you had a hand in helping design some of the Marvel Rising characters, correct? Or their
Yeah, yeah,
outfits.
yeah. I worked on Inferno, America Chavez, and it was fun. It was pretty crazy, but it's not like my design that is like in there, but I got to work on it, which was unbelievable and fun, really.
Gotcha. So is that process a lot different having to work when you worked on Marvel Rising versus like when you're doing your characters for your books? Was it
Yeah.
like
It was like the first time that I really worked in character design, so you have to do like a lot of like turnarounds and like the ratio of like your character has to be good, of like the head and everything. When I draw, it's a bit all over the place. So yeah, it was interesting in that way.
got you? So what is some of the early art styles that inspired you to what your style is today? I mean, you can see some of your styles changing
Hmm.
from things you worked on, but so what did you see that made you say, okay, I like that and I want to kind of either incorporate that or it just inspired you for some of
Yeah.
your
I don't know if you know Skydoll.
Mhm.
It's an Italian comic book by Alessandro Barbucci and Barbara Canepa, and I read it when I was like maybe 14, 15, and I remember just like it's like very colorful and like Disney looking and pretty, but like the story is like super heavy, and I was just like, this is exactly what I want to do.
Gotcha.
So after that, I discovered Sculptagram and all of this. So it just became a big mix of a lot of things that I love. But yeah, first it started with this.
Yeah, I can see where Sky Doll would have been an inspiration with the way
Yeah,
you do your heads and everything. So that's very cool.
Have
definitely.
witches always been like a fascination for you? Because your
Yeah.
witches are so cute.
I have like bits that I can remember from my childhood, but I had a neighbor that we used to play together a lot, and we used to like pretend to be witches and do like stuff and like have a book where we were like writing spells or whatever in it. I was like super young. Yeah, I always had this like weird fascination for
Yeah,
witches.
That's awesome.
yeah, your skater witches are pretty awesome.
Ah, thanks.
I ordered some prints of the skater witches from your site, but I think they've gotten lost in the mail or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
UPS is
really?
yeah.
Oh,
I got to call them on Monday.
well,
It,
if like you tell me if you didn't get them, I can resend them to you or something. So
it's fine. I'll deal with UPS or USPS.
USPS,
Sorry, not UPS.
USPS.
USPS on Monday. We were kind of hoping to have them here today too
To show them
to
off.
show them off, and it was supposed to be delivered Wednesday, and then it just went into USPS hell, and so
Oh yeah, I've had some like trouble with packages right now. And, like we're lucky that they're still like working really hard for us, but it's like difficult. Yeah.
yep, yeah. It just somehow somebody just left it somewhere,
I
but
don't know.
we'll get it straight, and we'll show it in a few weeks when
Not
we
your
get them.
fault.
Yeah, when we get them here, we'll be able to show them. So
Otherwise, you tell me.
I will do. That way we can promote some of your stuff.
So
Well,
staying
thanks.
on the witchy topic, do you have any other witchy projects coming up that you're working on besides Sabrina covers? Maybe? You can't talk about it?
Nothing that I can talk about, unfortunately.
There you
That
go.
means yes.
Means Yeah, no comment.
That means
No comment.
No comment at this time. That's right.
awesome.
So when you started your artistic journey, did you look at the end goal of being in comics, or did you look at was it a different end goal at the time and you just kind of found your way coming in the comics and that genre?
I think I kind of found my way. It started with my boyfriend at the time was the one who really wanted to get into comics, and he kind of like got me into it because at first I was really driven by French comic books. It's like that was the industry that I wanted to get in. That was everything I knew. I tried for many years. I did like some coloring and like lettering and stuff, but it's super hard to get in. People are not. I didn't feel like people being so welcoming, like the comic industry here, you know. And when we moved to Canada, it was just so different because like everyone here is just so sweet, and I feel like there's like way more opportunities that there was in France or anything. And I don't know, I like comics because you can work on so many characters from your childhood and work on so many different projects because it's like short terms. When like in France it's going to be like really long. It's going to be like 2-3 years or something. I don't know. I feel like comic books is way more fulfilling. Like it makes me more happy. That's for sure.
Gotcha.
Do you think there'll be French editions of like this?
Hopefully, yeah. I would love that.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. My parents could finally read it.
Yeah, we collect a lot of French edition books also, so it's kind of a thing that we do.
My favorite book is Le Petit Prince, so I try to get as many of them as I can, French or English.
That's so cool.
I've only actually read it in French. So.
Right, yes.
I've never read it in English, I don't think.
Is there like different covers, or it's usually like
they do like collector's editions and the different covers, graphic novel adaptation of it too.
Yeah, they've done tons of graphic novel adaptations for the Little Prince, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And it was a book that I had until I met my wife 7-8 years ago. I actually had no idea what that book was.
It's pretty famous, yeah. Yeah.
Got a whole shelf full of them, so that's fair. So I had read somewhere where you had worked at maybe I'm getting this wrong, but like a video game company one time.
Yeah, I worked at a mobile game company for 2 years when I first moved here. Yeah, I don't know. I never worked in video game before or anything. It kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of like out of nowhere, but it really helped me actually like meeting people here and like evolving with my art and stuff. It's called Budge Studios. Okay. So it was like games like Hello Kitty and stuff. So it was like really cute.
Design, or what did you work on there?
Since it's like mobile game, like we had to do pretty much everything. I was not animating. I learned a little bit at the end, but it's like character design and backgrounds, UI. Really, like you have to be versatile, which was fun.
That's awesome.
So some of your, I guess I've seen, so some of your first comic work was actually in Rat Queens, where you did a cover.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you did a short story in Rat Queens. Is that correct?
Yeah, for like the webcomic that Curtis released. Yeah.
Right. I thought I had that correct. So how was that? I mean, that's that is like your first work into the comic realm for the American style comic?
Yeah, completely, because I was like doing fan arts, like I still do, but and like Curtis reached out to me and was like, hey, like, would you be down to do like a cover or something? And it's like, yeah, for sure. Whenever you want. I can even do it for free. I was like so excited. Yeah, it just like kind of like give me a chance to try, and it was really amazing. And people like still like at cons and stuff, people like come up to me and like, oh, I discovered your work on Riot Queens. I'm like, man, it was a cover. It's so great.
Yeah, it was very, very cool cover. We didn't have one to show here
No.
today in the shop, but yeah, it is a very cool cover.
Thank you.
We have the Love is Love anthology, but we don't have the French edition, so we didn't get to see what you did in that either.
Well, you're gonna have to get the French edition.
Shipping right now is ridiculous.
Yeah, I bet.
Shipping from French right now is a little ridiculous, so
Yeah.
so we held off.
That's
We
fair.
did
That's fair.
You have a story in this
Yes.
anthology, as well, or you did the art. It was witchy as well, so that was cool.
You're all prepared with all my stuff. That's adorable.
Try. We read all this stuff, so it's it makes it
gotta read
easier
it
to
to
have a
talk about
conversation.
it.
Yeah. We have all this stuff in our collection. That's the nice thing about like owning a shop and then reaching out to people to do interviews. You get to just pick the people that you like and you want to interview because you read their stuff or see their
Yeah.
art. It's like, it works out really well for me.
That's
And,
so cool.
Yeah, our dog did a review on this on Instagram.
Yeah.
He does our reviews for us. But
That's really cool.
is Mindy based on someone or yourself that you know in this story?
She's a bit of me. Yeah, it's a personal story. It's not exactly what happened to me, but I went through an eating disorder and body dysphoria. So Mindy is she was like my way of expressing the story. Even if like I feel like when I work on a story, like every character is a bit of me in some way. But yeah. Mindy is definitely
Awesome. Where did you get the idea for the magic chocolate bar? That was pretty unique to me.
Oh, I can't remember exactly, but I think like have you read Seconds from Brian Lee O'Malley?
Yes.
That he's one of my favorite author, and this book is one of my favorite too. And I really love the idea of like the magic mushroom. The fact that she was like eating the mushroom and it was like somehow like just like mixing everything, and the idea of Mindy having to like eat something, which is like eating is like something that is like problematic for her at the time. So I had the idea of like having to eat to like eel in some way was like, I don't know, I thought it was
It's brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah, thank you.
Next question. All right. Just where are you? See?
I've already asked.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry, just ignore him.
Yeah, just ignore me. We kind of have a list of questions, but then we like go off the rails most of the time, and then I try to bring it back in some, and it works sometimes and it doesn't.
It's
can't
cool.
always-
It's nice. Just a little chat.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly right. So also read that, and actually I put this question in here for her. So I've read where you like true crime shows.
Yes.
So what kind of true crime shows are you watching? You know, maybe there's something that she hasn't watched.
I kind of like stopped for like because of like everything that's happening right now. I was like, I don't know if I'm in the mood for this, but the latest one that I watched was oh man, that's like a Netflix one. It's really good. I can't remember the name. They're like FBI agents. No.
Is it like a documentary or?
No, it's a TV show.
Gotcha.
I can't even remember the name. It's ridiculous. But anyway, otherwise I listen to like My Favorite Murder a lot.
Gotcha.
It's a cool podcast.
I read their book. I haven't listened to their podcast though.
And they're really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
So do you plan on writing more original stories, or are you going to stick with just doing cover art and internal art for stories?
I think I'd still like to like get a mix of the two. I have original ideas, but I still love working on existing characters. It's like really fun. So if I can keep doing both a little bit, that would be great.
I know you were trying to, I know earlier on you mentioned where, you know, it was the way the process was in France and all that. Was there any books that you tried to get to work on in France before you left? Or is it just the difficulty of it just made it to where it was like, it's not even at this point, it's just such a battle that wasn't actually worth the time before you moved to Canada?
I guess I was really young at the time, so there was not like, it's not like you have a lot of like titles that you can work on if you don't have an original idea.
Gotcha.
But we did pitch In and of Yourself to a French publisher before we did the Kickstarter, and yeah, it was a big no.
Well, maybe they'll say yes now.
So was it after all that and you decided to do your Kickstarter and all that for Eat and Love Yourself, was it a surprise at how well received it was through the Kickstarter route for you?
Yeah, it really was, because I'm not the kind of person who like gives up on stuff. I like to, like, if I start something, I'm gonna have to finish it. So even when like the pitch was like this and no to it, I was like, whatever, we're gonna do something with it anyway. So the Kickstarter, yeah, was a big surprise. It was scary because it's like, yeah, you know, it's a touchy subject, so you have to like talk about it in a correct way. But no, I think I'm blown away, and even still, because like now we're actually getting reviews and opinions and everything, and it's really amazing.
I think because it is a touchy subject, that's why you need to talk about it, because not many people talk about these topics.
Exactly. But you know, like it can be triggering for some people, and some other people could get the wrong message from it, which I hope they don't. But if it can happen, you know, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it's, you know, it's
a powerful story.
It is a very powerful story for what, you know, a lot of people need to see, and for you to, you know, take that chance on something, to do that out and then see it through. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was cathartic for me to work on it, and I just hope that it could be cathartic for someone to read it. So.
Well, you got us.
Yeah, it's it's I can't say I found it through Kickstarter. We found it, you know, through Boom.
Yeah.
You know, so that
you know, that's fair. That means like the book is like it's out there.
Boom's been really big supporters of us, so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So keep going on that, like, so how was that conversation when you pitched that to Boom and they pretty much said yes when you were showing them that? How was that for you? You know, you already had now a success on Kickstarter, and now you're able to show it to a company like Boom, and they're like, well, of course.
Actually, it's a funny story, because I don't know if you know TCAF, the Toronto Comic Art Festival. It takes place in May every year. It's a great free festival. It's just artists, and there's like portfolio reviews. And it was like back in 2017 or I don't know, something like that. But I went there with my portfolio and I was walking around and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try and go for it. And I went in line and there was like people trying to like talking to me a little bit, and I was really late. I mixed the time, so I was not sure I was gonna get in. And the people in front of me was like, oh, you're like trying, I don't know if you're gonna, you know, be able to, or like, we're probably gonna get in or something like that. So I was just like, I don't know. They ended up taking all of us together, and my heart was beating so hard. I was like there with like my portfolio. We were like, and they were like reviewing the three of us, and they ended up to me, and she like, because I did like a little like fanzine with like the 21st pages of the book.
Right.
And like, I gave it to them, and they were like reading it, and they were like, "Wow, it's really amazing." And they took the book, and they were like showing it to the others. They were like, "This is great," and I was just like red, and feeling like, I was like hot, and I was like, "This is crazy." And 2 months later, we had like a green lit, and the book was going to be published by them, and that was it.
Wow.
That was crazy.
The people online were being discouraging, but you showed them, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, you've been through this before, so it's very cool.
So another French question. Do you have any French comic recommendations that are like only available in French?
Oh, good question. I've been like a bit, I kind of stopped reading really, but I'm trying to see if there's some that I remember. I like, one of my biggest is like, I don't know if it's French, but it's still available here. It's like Black Sad, but you know,
Right.
Black Sad isn't exclusive to France, but
Yeah, Black Sad not known it's here, but it's not known very well here.
yeah, no. Oh, that's crazy. It's so
What
good.
is it?
Yeah.
What is it about?
It's like a detective story, but it's like imagine Zootopia, but it's like
I'm sorry.
dark. It's like it's dark, like detective story. It's really cool. And the like I don't know, I felt like the way the artists work, because it's like all done in watercolor, and like every panel it's like a research of watercolor. It like probably takes 5 years for him to make like an album or something. It's crazy.
I'll have to look for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have a copy somewhere. Yeah, somewhere in my collection.
Our whole store's our collection.
Wow. So through like your currently, I guess your work on Captain Marvel is it finished at this time, or because I know it was originally a 3 issue and then it went to 5.
So yeah, we had like the first 3 issues with like the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then we have a second arc with the Unstoppable Wasp,
Right.
which because of all of this has been like I think the release has been moved of the issues.
Yeah.
And we have another arc that is supposed to come, but everything right now is a bit on hold, so we'll see.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I'll let you promote your store a little bit. So what kind of stuff do you have in your store right now for, like we talked about your, skating witches and stuff like that. What other kind of, material do you currently have in your online store?
Well, I have a lot of prints. I have a lot of like my Sabrina covers and a lot of other Sabrina stuff, because it's pretty much everything I draw lately. I have my Scary Witches stickers. I have the Kickstarter version of You Don't Love Yourself. And yeah, it's pretty much it.
We got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything. So. She likes stickers, so she got the witching stickers.
Yeah.
They're fun. You can put them everywhere. So it's you.
Yeah. She puts them everywhere. I think that's all we have today. We don't, we try not to take up too much of your time. We could probably talk forever, but I'm sure you've got other things to do too. So we appreciate you joining us today for this, and it's very nice talking to you, and
yeah, you too.
Hearing about yourself and your books, and keep them coming, and we'll keep buying. We love your art. We really enjoyed that, and like I said, we really did enjoy Eat and Love Yourself. So we hope to see more original stuff coming out from you soon. So that'd be great.
Yes, and we keep in touch about the stickers.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sweeney.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. Have a good one.
Have a good one too. Bye.
I can't find my mouse.
It's on my face.